Hi everyone, this is Jason Zach from Nathaniel School of Music. In this tutorial, we are just going to take the most common interval that is used by humans, I would imagine, the third. And there are two of them. They have two flavors. That would be the major third and the minor third. So we are in the key of D. We'll be in the key of D for this lesson. So D's major third is F sharp. D's minor third is F. So the idea is to figure out a way to play these thirds either in closed position or in spread position and then support the whole harmonic system in the left hand with simple bass notes and maybe even some rhythms along the way. And this would be a good ecosystem to produce music alongside a lot of other tracks that you're working with. If you're working with guitars, synthesizers, an actual bass, drums, like a full ensemble, you need to voice your chords not in the traditional way. For example, if you play D major like this, the textbook way, and if a guitar player also plays it like that, then how are you adding value, or how is the guitarist adding value? One of you have to change the way you play the chord. So if you didn't know already, D major is not just this. It can be inverted, it can be opened out in a spread way, and you can also add some color and some flavor to it. You can also relate this chord to the other musicians that you're playing along with, and over a period of time, as you build experience, this starts coming naturally. And also, it's important to know whether we want to change the function of the chord itself. So if you take D major, do you want it to remain stable in the first place as it is now, or do you want to make it a bit more unstable? Maybe do the same thing with D minor. And so on. And also, if you're learning this lesson as a newcomer to the piano, if you consider yourself beginner or beginner intermediate, this lesson would be a very easy way to get into chord playing, sing and play music, accompaniment style kind of music. Or in general, it will train your theory, train your ear, and make you a better musician and pianist, we hope. Okay, so before we get started, it'll be nice if you can consider hitting that subscribe and turn on the bell for regular notifications. You can also consider getting my handwritten notes. They are waiting for you on Patreon. You'll also find the link in the description. Okay, let's get cracking. So, as I said earlier, we'll take D as my root, and let's build major third from D. That's F sharp. Minor third would be F, and then figure out a way to play this in the spread position, which would be just an inversion. F sharp comes first, D on the top, or F comes first and D on the top if it's minor third. Also note, F sharp to D would end up being a sixth interval also if you look at it theoretically, and a major third on inversion becomes a minor sixth, and a minor third on inversion becomes a major sixth. So D to F sharp is a major third. F sharp to D is a minor sixth with respect to F sharp as the starting point. D to F is a minor third. D is the start or reference. F to D would end up being a major sixth where F is the point of reference. So I take D to F sharp as my home base in the right hand, and let's see what we can build in the left hand. First off, if you just play D, what are you gaining? Well, you're kind of playing the D major chord because the fifth is not so important in a major triad in any case, right? So that's the first thing you need to know. So first off, let's look at the chord tones of the actual inherent chord. So major third, always going to happen, or I'll play it in the spread shape. That's just a preference, depending on how you want to voice your harmony. Remember, I said based on the musicians that you're dealing with or the production environment that you've set up in your DAW, let's say. Okay, so this is adding a nice thickness to my right hand, but it's not really changing the chord, isn't it? It's just D major. So if I go up to the third, now I'm reinforcing the third. So what is this? This could be considered as a D/F sharp. Okay, a very different chord because it wants to resolve to G major or G minor, while just a root D doesn't really want to resolve, it just feels fine. But you play D over F sharp, it wants to resolve to some other chord. Okay, what's the other chord tone of a D major? The one we have not played, which is A. So what happens if I play that here? So when playing this A, the missing note here in the left hand, it just changes the vibe or the avatar of the D major chord. Again, it's unstable. And what's also nice is it tells you, it gives you an indicator where it wants to go. This bass note is the bass note of the A major chord. You can even resolve it to A minor. And if you play A major, you can resolve A to D because A is the fifth of D. A is the dominant of D, right? So that's, you can call this as a D/A, resolving to A, and then that A resolves to D. So you're using the tonic chord with a slash to resolve to its dominant to then resolve again back to the same tonic chord. So that's a cool trick if you want to make a chord progression a lot longer than what it is. See, even if you take the tonic D, you can now do the same tonic chord with an F sharp bass, resolve it to G, maybe a G minor, and then back to D. So you can use a D over F sharp as an extra or a passing chord. Similarly, D over A resolves to A, resolves to D major, or even D minor for that matter. Fine. So we have looked at all the bass elements which are part of the actual chord, namely D, F sharp, A. What about some other bass notes? If I just look at the relative minor major concept, so D major's relative minor, you should remember that is B minor. You move up a major sixth, or you can use the circle of fifths and a lot of other tricks to figure that out. But anyway, I'll leave that aside for now. You take the same third with its relative minor B. Bang. You just get instant B minor. That's it. So you get D major, relative minor, B minor. So if you're just playing music on the piano and you want to keep it simple, just a simple arpeggio, you automatically get two chord progressions right there. They are very common chord progressions in pop and most music actually. Okay, so that's your relative minor. Now what about sticking on the D F sharp and figuring out the dominant and the predominant options? So if you take the dominant chord, that's A. As I told you, it's already like an A chord or an A sound, and that resolves to A major, and then that resolves back to D. That's not really new, we just learnt it. But what if I go to the G? Immediately you get the vibe of a G major 7th chord, isn't it? Without the B, of course. You can add that in. So now if you couple all this, D major, B minor just with B in the bass, G major with again the same third in the right hand, maybe the other predominant option, which is the 2. You could actually consider this as an E minor 9th without the third and without the 5th. But it kind of sounds sophisticated with just these two notes and the E in the bottom. So you can build a progression. D, B minor, E minor 9th, G. Then let's bring in some of those slash chords. D over A. So literally every note of D major has been used so far in this analysis except the C sharp. And it's quite an interesting sound because normally it'll form C sharp diminished, but it doesn't sound too bad if you use it in a passing context. There we go. Like a lot of Beatles songs. So you use it more as a line cliche. I use the word line cliche. That basically means something stays the same while the other thing changes. It's usually the bass or the upper register of the treble. So C sharp will also work, but you can't hold on to it for long. Now what about we push this further and play notes in the left hand which are not even part of the D major scale. So here's where you have to be a bit cautious and just use your ear. Now, would you ever use this? You could consider this, but it's a bit too spicy, right? E flat might not be used. It's also a tension with respect to D. So forget that for now. F is not so good because you're playing a minor third and a major third. So forget that for now. Then what about the tritone? This sounds amazing with respect to the whole ecosystem. This could actually give you a vibe of the G sharp minor 7 flat 5 chord. So don't miss the tritone. The tritone with a major third is beautiful. Okay, what else is missing? The B flat. There we go. Beautiful augmented sound in there. So if you go up the minor 6th, you get a nice augmented. And if you go to C, you get a C Lydian. Augmented. Back to the regular one. So you might want to avoid E flat and F in there. So we've kind of harmonized a third, just D and F sharp, with a lot of options, and it's ended up forming a lot of chords. So make a note of that. Check out my notes as well if you wish, and study it further even after this lesson. But let's not end this lesson without focusing on minor thirds. We've started with the major third. Let's also do the minor third and see where we go from there. So you have a D minor, D, F. What can we do in the left? Good old D, making it just reinforce the D minor landscape. There we go. D minor / F. Very unstable. What's the other chord tone? D minor / A. Again, this has the same properties as the major third. It resolves back to the tonic. So that's your chord tones. What about non-chord tones? Since this is minor, let's start with the chord tones of the D natural minor scale as opposed to the major. So let's start with E over the D, F. You can consider this as an E7 flat 9, come to think of it. A good dominant 7th color. So D with its minor third and an E sound very beautiful together. You might want to ignore F sharp because again you have a major third and a minor third, so that's clashing. This is beautiful. We ignored it for major third, but you need it for minor third. Look at this sound. Gives you a very lush E flat major 9th sound. You could imagine that at least from this. See, major, perfect 5th, and that's your major 7th, major 9th. So very different ecosystem of choosing the bass notes when you have a minor third, isn't it? E, spelling out that 7 flat 9. Then F, I've already showed you, it's a chord tone. Avoid F sharp because it's a major third. There we go. G 7th, full on G 7th. A flat. You have a lovely diminished 7th voicing there. Would assume it's G sharp diminished. A we've already looked at, chord tone, and then a good old B flat major. See, you just take D F and you get D minor. You also get B flat major. You also get the next one. You get the B diminished. You can basically play James Bond. Okay, what have we missed out? The C. Again, the C could be a passing chord. I guess a C sharp is an acquired taste. You could use it for maybe a Phrygian dominant scale or something like that, which actually has it, or you can use it as a passing chord. Actually, everything could be a passing note, except for that F sharp. So come to think of it, minor gives you more options. The minor third gives you more options than major. I guess by the looks of it. Major didn't have 2, while minor didn't have 1. And we've done another lesson where I've even demonstrated this with a perfect fifth, a simple fifth in the right hand with all sorts of harmony in the left hand. Again, you'll get a lot of different options than what we did now in this lesson. So you can perhaps consider this as a 2-part series for your study, and we leave you the other link in the description as well. Check that out, and don't forget to hit that subscribe, turn on the bell for regular notifications so that you will get access to all these lessons. And if you're struggling to find lessons with the YouTube algorithm messing up here and there to not show lessons that we want you to find or you want to find based on your skill level and your interests, you can consider a repository website which is in the description called basically free tutorials. So you go there and you can find our lessons categorized by ear training, music theory, piano practice, intervals, great songs by if you want to learn Beatles songs or gospel songs. It's all there. So we've done a lot of YouTube videos, more than 1,000 I would imagine at the time of making this. So it's going to be tough for you to find them on our channel. So you'll have the same videos show up on our website. Check it out. And if you want to structure your learning a bit more, do reach out to our course advisor as well in the description and build a semester at Nathaniel for not only piano, you can also study vocals, guitar, and even music production, which we are planning to do in the near future. Thanks a ton for watching the lesson, and I will catch you in the next one. Cheers.